Hello everyone, you're listening to the Earful Tower podcast. My name is Oliver G, and this is a show where I try and introduce Paris to you. And the way I do that is usually by interesting and entertaining guests who make the City of Lights shine. And today's episode is exactly that. I've got Laurel and Kaysa, an American and a Swede, who run Treize au jardin. It is a bakery, it's a coffee shop, it's a restaurant, it's drinks, it's everything you want. It's on 5 Rue de Medicis, which is in the 6th arrondissement. And you're about to hear me and them sitting down over, well, I'm not going to spoil what we're drinking, but I'll tell you this, it's not a cup of coffee. And you're going to hear us chatting about the topic of the day, which is not just their lovely establishment, but it's the 6th arrondissement. Now, the reason I'm doing that is because this whole season, I'm going through all the districts one by one, finding an interesting person from there, in this case 2, and they're going to sort of introduce us to their neighborhood. That's what you can get from them. Kaysa and Laurel, they'll be up in a second, recorded inside the cafe. But more on that in a second. First, I want to say this episode is brought to you by My Private Paris. If you're wondering what that is, it's a tour group, boutique, customized tours. MyPrivateParis.com. You maybe saw on YouTube that just the other day I did a video with Bertrand, who's usually at the end of the episodes. We walked around Belleville for 1 hour at sunset. Really beautiful. We ended up at the top of the hill looking out over the sunset. I recommend you check it out. Subscribe on YouTube, all that good stuff. But today, at the end of the episode, you're going to hear from Marie. She calls herself the heart of the company. And she's talking about a street where you can escape Paris and head into the ancient old school Paris. A fascinating street that she says a lot of tourists don't know about. But I asked her before we got started to summarize the 6th arrondissement for us. Here's what she said.
So the 6th is a place first where I lived in. And to me, it's all about the joy and the art. So wherever you go, you have those cafes where you know the most important people used to write and have fun there, such as Hemingway or Sartre or to me, Boris Vian. So it's all about music, art, literature. That's what is the 6th to me.
So there you go. Remember to hang around at the end of the episode if you're anything like Misty. I think it was Misty Walker who wrote in on Instagram and says that for some reason it sounds to me like her commute is 25 minutes, which means that her and her husband have to sit in the garage for the last 5 minutes of the episodes to hear the end. But I'm glad you do that. I think it's really cool. Maybe there are others out there like you. I'm happy to keep you sitting in your garage listening to the show. And thank you to the sponsor, My Private Paris. Check them out. Customized tour, everything you need for a trip to Paris. Now, I want to do one more shout out, one more thing we talk about before you join me in this cafe, and it's that the book that I wrote, I haven't mentioned it for a while. The book, you can still pre-order it on the earfultower.com/memoir, but when I did the Kickstarter for it, I gave people the option of sort of buying it at a higher tier, and for that you got a whole lot of bonuses, and one of them was I'll read out anything you like on the show. And I've got a lot of those have come in, and I haven't figured out the best way to do it yet, but I was skimming through them just before I started recording this, and I found one from Sergio that's a bit time sensitive, so I thought I'd do that one first and foremost. Sergio writes in that he's in Seattle, and he says he keeps it quite brief, but he says, Sonia, my love, happy Valentine's Day. So I don't know when you guys are going to listen to this, but I'll tell you this, if I recorded this next week, it'd be too late. But that's very romantic, lovely. Sergio and Sonia, who I seem to remember meeting at the big event at the Australian Embassy. So I guess this episode is dedicated to you two. Thanks for listening to the show. Thanks for supporting the Kickstarter and getting my book, Paris on Air. But now, I want you to imagine you're walking into the cafe with me. What's that in the background? Is that the sound of the espresso machine? Is that a waiter bringing over a couple of, I don't know, cocktails for the host and his 2 guests? I don't know. But here you are, you're in the cafe, 6th arrondissement. Meet Laurel, meet Kaysa. Here we go. Hello, you two.
Hey. Hi.
Typically, I would say, welcome to my studio. That's not the case today. We're sitting in your studio.
Yes, we are.
Let's get the name exactly right here. Where are we?
Go ahead. Treize au jardin.
Treize au jardin. Nice French pronunciation.
Thank you. I tried.
Sweet as well.
Practice 20 years.
20 years you've been here. And on my left is Laurel.
Hi.
American accent.
Every day.
Every day an American accent?
Every day, whether I want it there or not. Can't do much about it, but yes.
Now that's something that we talked about before I pressed record, is that in your neck of the woods in America, they have quite a strong and slow accent.
It's true.
Have you sped up your accent a little bit?
I think that
living abroad, you end up kind of picking up bits and pieces of other people's accents and other people's like things that they say. We gotta have a Irish chef in the kitchen and a New Zealander chef in the kitchen. So all of a sudden, there's all of these weird words that are working into my vocabulary.
Right.
I think that happens to all of us once you start. So
And also, really strong accents are really hard for many people to follow.
Yep.
it's true.
So you can't have a super Irish or super New Zealand or
If you can work around it. Oh, here's our drinks. Here, I'm not putting them on the table.
We can.
We're not clinking
So
on
what
the
are
table.
what are we telling the listeners that we're drinking right now?
Right now, we're so it's a perfectly acceptable time to be drinking gin and tonics.
Monday morning? No, it's late.
4 o'clock in the afternoon.
It's fine.
It's late on it. To set the scene for everyone at home, it's late on a Friday afternoon. What time do you guys close here?
These days, 7.
Yeah, these days during the strike,
Yeah.
sadly,
Yeah.
there's not a lot of people walking around. So we close at 7 because there's really no one. But otherwise 10.
Right. And on a day like
9.
9 last order.
hang on,
Right.
9 p.m.
Yeah.
9
Really?
p.m. for last order.
Yeah, 9 p.m. last
Close
order.
the doors at 10.
Close the doors at 10.
That's
So we
cool.
definitely have early dinner and tapas.
So you got everything going on here.
Not all at the same time, but yes, we have brunch all day. We have music, but only on Friday nights. I mean,
Yes.
there's music usually
Oh,
playing.
there's awesome playlists.
Yeah, thanks.
It feels
Yes.
like you got
Drunk
like
me
a,
appreciates
it's
that.
like a community in here.
Kind of what we wanted.
Yeah.
That's kind of what we were going for.
It's like a little clubhouse.
Well, I think that we've all been a lot of us. I don't know how long you've lived abroad.
abroad.
Yeah, or-
10 years or
Right.
so.
Okay. So yeah. So you get it. Every once in a while, it's not that I love living in France. I love so many things about living in France. I love living in Paris. I could go on about that for more than the requisite 20 minutes for sure. But I tell you, there's every once in a while where it's just really nice to not feel like you're at somebody else's in somebody else's space and
Sure.
you're not bending to somebody else's cultural rules or whatever. And I feel like
It's like an international space station. Is that what you were getting
it kind
for?
of is. It kind of is. That's kind of what we're going for. I think that altogether, do you remember how many nationalities we have on staff?
Before the strike happened? 14?
14.
Now-
So the strike has been quite serious for restaurants and cafes and businesses, and the customers haven't been coming in.
Yeah, we've had a really rough time.
Yeah.
Kind of keeping our morale up and.
Do you think this is going to continue even when, let's say, the strike's finished today, which obviously they're not because they're ongoing outside the door right now. But I say outside the door, it's not actually outside the door.
Well-
because you got the Luxembourg Gardens outside your door.
No, it's well, we have seen some action around here,
Really?
but luckily
Yeah.
today is not one of them.
So the question was, do you think that even if the strikes end today, that this is going to have a tail, like it's going to continue, or do you think?
The thing is that people don't believe that really either that the strike is over and that the metros are actually going to go. So it's like me this morning, I assumed there was not going to be any metro. So I took 2 hours of my life to just walk.
But I really think that one thing that we did notice last year is when we went through the whole gilet jaune, yellow vest thing, was that in the beginning it was really rough. And nobody was coming out on Saturdays when there may or may not have been a manifestation really close to here, and they might have been in danger. But the rules didn't really change over the course of the months and months and months it went on. But Parisians stopped giving. They just stopped caring
Interesting.
that it was going to be. There was like, okay, yeah, I get it. It's Saturday. I may or may not be walking into a huge deluge of people who are angry. I really don't give a shit anymore because I need to have some brunch. And I feel like there's a certain
I need to
amount
have my
of
life back.
Yeah,
I've been getting emails from people saying, "Oh, should I come to Paris because of these strikes and all this?" I say, yeah. I say, don't even think about it. If you see a big crowd, just don't go into the middle of it. Are you getting
Yeah.
similar emails from people? Or?
We've got many emails from clients that normally come during the Christmas holidays, just saying that they're not.
yeah. The
arrive.
people who we normally would see either during like Fashion Week or during Maison et
Yeah.
Objet, which is like the housewares fashion week, that
And
we normally would
Christmas
see and be
season.
like, hey, we're really sorry we couldn't make it this year, but we'll see you guys hopefully in July or whatever. But it has had a real impact I think, on people who want to come to the city, because it's a total pain in the tit to get around.
Yeah.
Pain in the tit.
Should I not have said that?
South
Should I pain
Carolina.
in the butt?
Hang on. So
pain in
She's
the
been very
cartouche.
long time outside,
Yeah.
and her business is Swedish. Maria.
before we get to the sixth arrondissement, I want to just ask you: is there a message that you give to people living in Paris or coming to Paris about supporting restaurants and cafes during the strike? Should they be acting differently? Should they be seeking people like you
It's
are?
not just restaurants and cafes. It's all small
Small business in general. So
It is. I mean, even the flower shop that I was in the other day, just around the corner, told me, he's like, I don't get it, because I thought that all my clients were locals, and he's down 25%.
Yeah, it's really hard, because like if it's like a, you know, the corner shop, the bodega, or all of these people are having a terrible time. We obviously are having the same as all of the other restaurateurs. It's really It's really a difficult season, and so trying to. Don't do the Uber Eats. You don't want to eat that cold food in your house at your desk. That's no good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Get out there and hop into a cafe.
It is really important. And the one thing that I noticed personally, I went out and I had to meet a girlfriend for lunch on my day off, which was awesome. And I walked over to Opéra and walked to Rue Sainte-Anne. She was coming from the 17th. And so that was like a natural in-between spot for us. And we ended up staying for like, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours and having like a super long lunch, and then going around the corner to Harry's bar and having like several cocktails. And so it's really nice, because it's like, all right, I'm here, I'm staying, because it's going to take me 2 hours to get home.
Yeah.
So I may as well enjoy the time that I'm here. So
You mentioned Harry's bar famously in the second arrondissement.
yes.
And I'm going to tear you away from there and to the sixth arrondissement.
I don't think it'll be that hard. We love this neighborhood.
I want to talk about the neighborhood and your place in it.
Yeah.
And also just, you know, there might be some people listening to this in the future. 5 years down the line, they'll be going, I don't care about the strikes. So you guys, don't worry. Don't worry, we got
It's very
tips and stuff for you as well. But let's begin by talking about your place in the neighborhoods. Geographically, you're at the, what would it be, the north end of the Luxembourg Gardens-ish? Next to
Just behind the Odeon Theatre.
Right, just behind Odeon and very close to the Red Wheelbarrow Bookshop with Penelope Fletcher, who's been on the
Yes.
show before.
Yep.
And does that mean that you get a lot of park wanderers coming in here?
A lot.
Is that the main kind of customers?
We have it's hard to say the main kind. I think it's really we do kind of feel like the rhythm of the garden has kind of bled over onto us.
Rhythm of the Garden.
Shape
rhythm
the
of the
Sounds like
shapes
a
us.
Bruce Springsteen song.
No, but it's kind of funny. There's been like days where, especially during the strikes and in January, where we were like, wow, it's completely dead. We may as well just close. And it's 4:30, and we hear the whistles.
Yeah.
We hear the guardians in the park blowing their whistles because they're closing the park
And they blow the whistles to
clean
shepherd everybody
to
out.
clean
right?
everybody out.
It's
Yeah.
kind of a bit frightening when they do that.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I know, but they're just men in hats with whistles. It's fine. It's really okay.
But they kind of shake. Like, have you in that park?
Oh yeah.
When people are sitting on the grass where they're not allowed to be.
Don't do that.
No.
Oh, don't do that.
Sitting on the grass is very special.
Grass is for looking at.
It's only.
Don't
I
sit on
detect
it.
Same
a
as
bit of
flowers.
irony in both of your voices.
Don't
No.
sit on the grass.
Is that actually like a kind of number one tip over there? Don't sit
So
on the
I have a
grass?
really good story.
Only where it says. Only where it says.
I'm frightened.
I have a good story, but like 20 years ago when we were young and crazy and worked in nightclubs.
Younger, crazier.
Crazier. And some colleagues of ours, obviously not us, were sitting on the grass
So you two.
in another garden,
Right.
Totally not
smoking
here.
grass.
Oh my goodness.
And they were fined not by smoking grass, but sitting.
But
on
for
grass.
sitting.
Oh, that's amazing.
Very fresh.
Yeah, it's like we don't really care what you're smoking. The fact is you're sitting down on the grass and you shouldn't be doing that.
I think
So-
a lot of people are smoking grass in Paris lately as
I
well.
think they are too.
I saw like a I don't know, maybe 55-year-old woman in an empty park yesterday in Montmartre just by herself.
Just token it up.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, you know, everybody. Hopefully, the people listening to this in 5 years' time will be laughing about the fact that it wasn't legal here yet.
Maybe it's all changed by then. But anyway, what's this place here where we are? How long have you guys had it?
We've been here in this location for 18 months.
18 months?
Before that, we were actually on the other side of the same neighborhood, which is Saint-Germain-des-Prés.
Right.
I'm a huge, in fact, both of us are huge fans this neighborhood and this side of the river. Being in Paris, we've both been in Paris for more than 20 years.
Yeah.
And it's just, and I've lived in different places and all kinds of other stuff, but really, the left bank. This is my spot. This is where it is.
Fifth,
Yeah.
the sixth, and the seventh has always been very close to our heart.
Yeah.
Where we actually live
when
our
someone
lives.
says the left bank, they're kind of talking about 5th, 6th, 7th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe there are people who, there's a lot to be said about Chinatown, all the cool stuff that's going on at the 13th. There's
You
a
wouldn't
lot
call
of.
it the left bank, would you?
Sure, it's a left bank.
Yeah, you'd say
of course
that?
it's left. I would stretch it as far and be like Nantes is left bank as well. I'm cool.
It's on that side of the river.
As long as it's on the left bank of the river.
But the river sort of goes down into the middle of France, so it's kind of... Because in Paris it's like north and south.
Yeah,
And we say left and right because of the way that you look.
at the river because
Yeah.
of the way the river flows. Yeah.
Yes, but it has a real story to it.
Sure.
Because what was going on the left bank towards what was going on the right bank.
It's
back
true.
in the day.
It's true. They used to call it the savoir on the left bank and the faire on the right bank.
Did they?
Yeah. Yeah, savoir faire. But yeah.
Okay, yeah. I feel like
Yeah.
maybe I've heard that.
Yeah.
Fair on the right bank because that's where... Yeah.
Because that's where stuff gets done.
So the philosophers and stuff on
all
the
of
left
that.
bank.
The people,
Colours
the
and-
thinkers, and the this is where the
Yeah.
first university was right here in. Actually, that might be in the 5th arrondissement. Where is
No, we
then
talked about this before I
even-
pressed record. We're not going to...
We're not talking about the 5th arrondissement.
Laura was... you're obsessed with the 5th.
I am actually really upset. I love the 5th arrondissement.
But that's
true.
okay. We did that last week. So 6 now. When...
We do love the fifth, but the greater place to actually have a cafe is the sixth.
Totally.
Let's
And
talk
when we
about it.
decided to move address, that is actually where we
We really wanted to
Yeah.
be. We wanted to stay in Saint-Germain, as close to Saint-Germain-des-Prés as we could.
So people listening at home, you say Saint-Germain-des-Prés, they go, what are those words? What are we talking about here?
Saint-Germain-des-Prés would be Saint-Germain-des-Prés kind of is the epicenter of that would be the Église Saint-Germain-des-Prés, which means Saint-Germain of the fields.
yeah.
And it's the oldest church, I think.
It just celebrated its 1000th birthday.
Right.
So I don't know if that's the oldest or if that's one of the oldest, but
I
pretty
feel like
sure.
it is, yeah.
It's a pretty old
But
church.
pretty good age.
Yeah, it's a pretty old church. But that used to be sitting in the middle of fields all around here. But in any case, the neighborhood has kind of grown from that. But we have all of the super mythic cafes like the Demago and the Café Flore and the Brasserie.
It's
And
interesting.
the Rostand.
Absolutely.
You're talking about other cafes when you are a cafe. Are they competition or are they...
No,
Those are-
we're complementing each other.
Absolutely, because those things are they're institutions. These are places where if you think about like what's the one near Montparnasse, the Coupole? That's hugely famous. These are places where like Gertrude Stein hung out and where Ernest Hemingway hung out, and all of these things they're so centered. Like when I used to walk, when we were on the other side of Saint-Germain-des-Prés, when we were we were on the cusp on Rue des Saint-Pères. Sorry.
Did you guys...
She's staying inside the area now.
I'm trying to stay inside the area.
You try to get out of
We're
the
not mentioning
district.
other areas. It's
no,
just
no.
Like just at the border.
It's at the border. It's fine. I would walk in front of Café Flore every morning,
Right.
and there's like 4 or 5 like French actors that I recognize, and I don't watch a lot of
That
French
we
movies.
recognize.
Yeah,
That
that are just
we
like
don't know
hey,
nothing
you know, and
about
these are like these places that are just mythic.
Yeah.
And they're still open, and they're
There's
still.
so many of famous authors that are like, and he wrote his first book here and his second book here.
So if there's
in cafes.
If there's someone listening to this podcast now and they're thinking, obviously I'm going to go into Treize au jardin for my first coffee of the day. They've come in here and they had a delicious cookie like I had.
Yeah.
And then they're thinking, I fancy another coffee somewhere else. Where's the one institution they should go?
For coffee? For coffee?
For a
no
drink,
one of
for a
them?
half hour. Really?
Yeah, but
Not
really,
coffee?
maybe
We're
they want a
talking
people watch.
institutions
Institution.
and-
Okay, so which is the best one?
Café Flore.
You say Flore,
Of course.
Laurel.
Well, there's teams. There's like tribes.
Is it like?
Oh yeah, totally.
But also
yeah.
but you brought up coffee,
Yes,
which
I
is
did.
not the same thing as like what cafe should you go to
Sure.
that
Yeah.
is, because you
Okay,
know
let's-
obviously you have hot chocolate in the garden at Angelique.
Which is beautiful and fantastic.
Yeah.
Hang on, they've got is there a cafe in there? Is that what you
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, in the
Oh,
in
there's
the,
many.
Yeah, by the Senate, yeah, and in the
Yeah,
garden.
but
of
there's a
course.
famous one.
You can do everything you need to in Luxembourg Garden.
Yes, you can.
Maybe you wanted to play tennis. Done. Maybe you want to ride a pony. Done. You want to
Basketball,
totally done.
Yes.
Absolutely. Sandbox. Done.
bees.
Bees.
Oh,
A whole
Of
bee
course.
farm.
Did you want to
You
learn to
cannot walk
espalier
on the grass
trees?
there
They can do
either.
that
Hang on,
too.
do I want to learn to what?
Espalier trees. They do lessons.
I know what espalier is.
Is where they take a tree and they make it flat so that it grows. It can grow up against the wall and it produces a lot more fruit that way apparently. But I think it just looks really cool.
Yes.
People do that.
Yeah.
Oh,
People
some of
make
the
that
best
happen.
exhibitions in Paris
Also,
happens in the
in the-
garden.
yeah.
Really selling it for. I've got a friend. In fact, it's a mutual friend of us all, Mike, who introduced us.
Oh, Mike from Katoom.
From Katoom.
now we're talking
another-
coffee.
Another friend of the show, but he told me this guy lived in. He's probably listening. He lived in Paris for 5 years plus. Never been in the
Oh,
garden.
bless his heart.
I made him go in.
Oh, bless his heart.
And he's been here so many times.
He's also but he's a right band guy.
At the same time,
Yeah.
I feel like a
Yeah.
lot of it, there are like the gateway to getting into these gardens or kind of understanding the garden is either like you're a runner or you have kids.
Yeah.
And then you start to understand that actually, okay, we all live in these tiny little apartments, especially in this neighborhood, just rent is crazy.
Yeah.
But that's our backyard. They cut the grass for us, which we're not to walk on things. But like
Just smoke.
again, careful with there. But that is, it's when you go into the garden for the first time, you start to understand like all of the cool things that are going on there, and all of the everything that there is. It is. It's like one of the best places in my
Yeah,
opinion.
it's
in
pretty
Paris.
awesome. And the playgrounds. Even though it would shock any Scandinavian to the core that you have to pay to go on the swings.
Hang on, you have to pay to go on the swing?
Well, okay, they're
Yes.
not just any swings. Okay, they're really special swings.
What have they got?
They're in the garden.
No, I don't we need more
No,
than
no,
that.
there's like a little. It's that. First of all, I think they were built in like 1812, but like there's a probably not. There was a war then, but like there's a like a little thing or a little cage. They're in cages,
Yeah.
and you put. They're a little complicated. They're pretty
I
exciting.
hope the parent gets like a hot chocolate or something if they're paying for a swing.
It's like €1.20.
Really?
So yeah, it's
What's
really.
the deal with those sailboats that the children push
Aren't
around?
those great?
Oh,
so
those are
it's like
awesome.
the most lo-fi kind of thing. So basically, the way that works is there's no working to it. It's like there's a little. You get a stick, and there's a little spot
proper
on the
old
boat
school.
that you push, and so you basically your child just gets to like walk around the fountain, hoping that their boat will come close to them so that they can push it again.
Wow.
It's
Yeah.
pretty great. It hours
Obviously,
and hours.
also costs money. But
It's like what, €3 an hour or something?
it's
really
it's
not
fine.
much.
It's really fine.
And they've
so
all got
great.
flags
And
from the different countries.
No, and it really keeps your kids occupied while you can sit on one of those awesome chairs,
Or
Yes.
a swing.
read your book.
I wouldn't.
Chairs are for free.
Yeah, the chairs are free if you can
Okay.
find one.
Yeah.
And those chairs are iconic as well, aren't
They are
Yeah,
the
they are.
Fermob chairs. That was
Yeah.
the original. Well, it was the second thing that Fermob did. It was the first thing that
That
Fermob.
who?
Fermob.
The company that actually makes the chairs that
F-E-F-
still exists.
Fermob. Fermob. So the Fermob, I believe, or it might be an urban myth.
We have some
Especially-
from up. We have some from up.
We do have some Fermobs, yeah.
Still,
But
right.
they built the first iconic, like their first chair was the bistro chair that can get pulled up really quickly because originally it was not super kosher to have a salon. This is like according to like the urban myth of cafes, but it was not okay to have a terrace outside, but people would do it and they would have these specific chairs that were easy to pick up and get inside really fast.
What do you mean, if it rained or something?
No,
the cops
yeah.
You know, it's a lot of cops.
Boom, done.
Bless their hearts.
Yeah, done.
We like
So-
them. We do.
Okay, well,
because
you
we're
guys-
across the seat from the Senate, so we have a lot of them here.
Yeah.
Well, you guys have sung the praises of the Jardin du Luxembourg.
Yeah.
Time's running away from us very quickly.
Oh.
In fact, too quickly.
Oh,
We're
no.
good talkers.
We didn't even talk about our cafe yet.
No.
Let's finish with a quick talk about the cafe. We did talk about it a bit, but a quick talk about the cafe, and then I got a question for each of you.
Cool.
But it'll have to be quick fire.
Okay.
This cafe,
Yeah.
you're talking to thousands of people out there who love going to cafes in Paris. Why should they come in here? What separates you from the 10 billion other cafes in this city?
I don't know. A lot and nothing all at the same time.
Yeah. It's definitely it's a home away from home.
It feels like home to us, and we find that with not everybody, but when you start to talk to somebody and realize that you kind of get along, like we were talking earlier, and you're like, this kind of feels like home. Well, that's kind of what we're going for, and so again, it doesn't happen for everybody, but
most people actually,
kind of feel
and the
comfy
philosophy of like that every single person that walks in is a friend,
Yeah.
and that is how we treat everybody.
We
Which
really do try to.
obviously doesn't work for everybody, but for most people,
That's
it
my
really
kind of
does.
cafe.
Yeah, some people get a little thrown by that, but that's okay. But otherwise, yeah, we've awesome. I mean, the fact that you came to us from a recommendation from another Australian, and y'all are like super weird and excited about coffee, like
Yes.
crazy, because like you really know about. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
it's fine.
Yeah.
You know about good coffee.
Yeah,
it's like
it's
if
like-
somebody's going
it's
to talk
like
to
in
me
your
about
blood.
iced tea or grits or something,
Yeah.
but like or somebody's going to talk to you about.
meatballs.
I was going with like some kind of
Not a
Swedish
cliche
lobster
at
or
all,
something,
but it's the
whatever.
truth.
But yeah.
We all know how to make meatballs. It's not even a joke.
You sell meatballs?
He's like, I know. My
No.
mom makes that. No,
No.
bless their meatball
Not
hearts.
yet. Not yet.
No meatballs here.
No.
Okay, so that's the reason people should come in. And if they hear your voices and recognize it, everyone say hello to these guys and let them know that you heard about them.
But not only, we're also an alcohol-infused tea room
Woohoo.
Alcohol-infused tea
Yes.
room. Is that how we get away with the gin and tonic here?
that we normally serve, not now because we wanted to get served once and not 3 times, in beautiful tiny little teacups.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Well, that's a lovely experience. Next time I come in here, I'm going to come in during the evening, I think. But let's finish with a tip.
Yes.
On you both. I'm going to ask you both a question.
Okay.
Same question, so whoever goes first can't think. They just have to answer straight away.
Right.
For some reason, you're getting kicked out of Paris, right? You got an hour left,
Oh my god.
right?
An hour left
Yeah.
inside Paris.
Yeah, weird, right? And the authorities say you have to spend that hour at one site in
Oh my
the
god,
6th
that's
arrondissement,
easy. They will be here.
and it cannot be your cafe,
Oh,
and you have to give
there's no
different
one else to
answers.
serve as good gin as we
Oh, I have to spend it in someplace in Paris.
No, in the 6th.
do. In the
Oh, in the
6th.
6th.
Yeah. These authorities have these weird rules. You got to go with it.
Does the Pont des Arts, does it count? Does that count?
The Pont des Arts, is that
So lovely.
a bridge? Oh, okay. That's so. Does that go from the 6th over to
It does actually cross from the 6th up by. All of our landmarks are bars. So is that near the Highlanders? Yes. Yeah. There's it's like
maybe
across
I
the
need
street
to
from
get
the
some
Highlanders.
chicken wings in from Rose's.
Do I need to go to
Yeah,
Rosie's?
well,
Yeah.
You're spending your last hour on the bridge.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay, that's all right. So what are you
Yeah.
gonna do? Just walk up and down
obviously,
it?
she brought a sipper cup.
Yeah, probably. Sorry.
Okay,
can do that.
so what's so good about the bridge?
Well, you can see everything.
That's true.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah,
you can
it's a
see
good,
everything. I
beautiful
don't know if I would last
view.
an hour honestly anywhere because I have a very short attention span, so I might just need to walk.
Yeah.
But like, I'd like to see the bridge. And
Okay.
I
maybe
can stay as long as I have a big sipper cup.
But you need to give
Anywhere.
a different answer, Kaysa. What would you say?
Well, I said that maybe I have to go to Rose's because they do actually have good beer and really good chicken wings.
Oh my god.
What's
it's such a-
Roses? For
No,
the
they
people?
have an
Rosie's.
amazing
Rosie's.
smoker. Yeah, they smoke their own meats.
But what is it?
Rosie's is it's a barbecue joint
It's a barbecue joint,
in kind of down at Saint Michel, also in the 6th.
like in a veranda.
Yeah, it's like a
Yeah.
weird, and it's in like this super touristy street. But you walk inside and there's like beautiful veranda and
And you wouldn't think that there are like, what are they called again? The guy who smokes meat.
a pitmaster.
There's like several pitmasters in there
Oh, there's
with
only-
a smoker.
there's only one real
and
one, but yeah.
fantastic meat.
Yeah.
And yeah,
The magic of the 6th by the
yeah,
sound
you
of
can,
it.
Yeah,
you
it
can, you
really
can
is.
seriously find pretty much everything in the 6th.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Yeah, you really can.
Let's finish on that note. Thank you for your tips and your time and your gin.
Woohoo! Thanks for making us drink at 4 o'clock.
And
We
yeah,
needed him for that.
all you
Yeah.
guys at home, come and say hello and have a drink or a coffee or a snack or all
All
three.
three.
Yeah.
We will be here
Yahoo!
any day of the week.
Let's wind it up there. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
So there you have it. That was Treize au jardin. And now with me in the studio is Marie from My Private Paris. Hello.
Hello.
And you, how are you?
I'm very good. How about you?
I'm all right. Yeah, I'm
Yeah?
all right. You've come in here promising an interesting street that some people maybe have never heard about in the 6th.
Yes.
That's a big call.
I hope. Okay, let's see. So it's a street that you can find or by Odeon, place, or eventually from the Rue Saint-André-des-Arts. So it's very hidden place. First, when you walk in, you have this impression of being in a Harry Potter movie.
Okay.
You know,
It feels like we always end up talking about Harry Potter when you're in the studio.
Yeah, I love Harry Potter. Okay, you're about Philippe Auguste, and actually, we're going to talk about that
Oh,
too.
thank you.
Here you
good.
go.
This is good.
So this street is. It's very old, so you can see that the cobblestone are not very even. So you have to watch your steps when you're getting in.
They're quite big too, those cobblestones.
Oh, they're massive. Yeah, they're massive for the usual. And there you have the oldest cafe, oldest restaurant of Paris, which is called the Procope. And you have to know that Benjamin Franklin, for example, used to go there, which is pretty amazing.
Right.
And people that made the French Revolution also. So you could do that, a little stop there, or you could continue, and there you'll see Philippe Auguste Tower. In one of my favorite places to have chocolat éclair or
What, in the
éclair au
same,
chocolat.
the same...
Yes, it's a cafe, but it's also where they decided to let the tower. So the tower is there, beautiful, and all around you have this little salon de thé.
Did you, when you were in there, did you sit by the tower?
Yes, you can. You can touch it.
I would sit there resting my cheek against that.
Yes, you can just embrace it.
It looks like it's been really... I don't know what the word isn't photoshopped. That's not the word I'm looking for, but they've touched it up nicely.
They restored it.
Restored,
yeah,
that's the word.
Yeah. So they cleaned it, and it's white, and you can really see the stones. So, which is a very good work they made. But you can feel that when you're on these streets, that you're really at the edge of the ancient Paris, because you have this old cobblestone, the oldest cafe, this wall. So you have this impression that you're getting through time. And when you escape from it, let's say from another entrance, you're just back in the real life with the boulevard and all the cars. But when you're there inside, you just you don't think about anything else. You could just stay there for hours.
Is there a perfect time of the day to go and visit this?
Maybe in the morning, like 11. I think that's the best, because in the afternoon you may have some tourists and some guides that are sharing their knowledge and go through there.
Right.
But you really have to be Parisian to know about it. That's why I like it. And also you have those signs that are like metal signs on the side of the shop. Like this old-fashioned way of having the name of the shops written on the street. We don't have that anymore in Paris.
No.
But there you have that. So that's why I say Harry Potter, because you have all these beautiful old signs.
There was I had a guest on this show, Christophe, who ran one of the auction houses on Rue Drouot in the 9th.
Yes.
And one of the auctions that he did, maybe you were there, but it was an elderly lady who died. And in her lifetime, she'd collected those signs.
Okay.
So all those kind of signs that you're talking about over the past 100 years, whenever she saw one, when like a bakery was closing down, she went and bought it from them and then just kept them in her house.
That's great.
And now I think they all got sold to the Carnavalet Museum. Maybe.
Yeah, I was about to tell you that, like, when the Carnavalet will finally reopen.
Yeah.
We will. If no, normally 2020 they say.
Okay.
So yeah, they have a beautiful collection of those metal old signs. Yes.
I can't wait to go and check that out. But that's not in the 6th arrondissement, so we don't care. No. But okay, so what was the name of this street again?
So it's called Cours Saint-André-des-Arts, or Cours du Commerce Saint-André-des-Arts. To find it, you can just go on Rue Saint-André-des-Arts and just turn right at one point and you will see it. But the
other way to find it is to book a tour with my private Paris, which you guys all knew by now. But thank you for coming into the studio, Marie. You'll be back at the end of the 7th arrondissement.
Yes.
Is there anything interesting in the 7th arrondissement?
Yes. Yeah. We will see that.
I've rated it as one of the best tourist arrondissements in the city. Do you think that's fair?
Let's say it's the most quiet and bourgeois and nice.
Really?
So, yeah, we're going to talk about that.
It's definitely one of the most sparkly ones too, if you know what I mean. If you don't know what I mean, I hope you're going to have to wait for next week. Thanks for coming in, Marie.
Thank you.